morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I see we got a lot of people in here so far. I think this is going to be a really fun demo today. If you don't know me, I'm Reen Wilcoxon, owner of Embroidery Garden. I've been in business for like 20 years. I specialize in the hoop designs, and I've been doing these monthly demos for the last 2 years, and I'm going to continue throughout this year. I see a lot of people in. I see Clovis, good morning. I see Dawn is here with Creative Appliques. Sue, Kim from New York, Virginia, Allen, thanks. Michelle, Kim, lots of people are in here. I think this is something that a lot of people want to know how to do. It really is kind of easy. I'm going to be showing you just two specific softwares because it's the software I own. And before we get started, and while some more people are coming in, I'm going to go over a few things like I always do. I got tons of notes all over the place here. So let me grab my notes so I don't forget anything. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing two giveaways, two $20 gift cards to embroiderygarden.com. How do you enter? You have to type #garden, and let me put that up right now. Let me find the banner. And you can see it popped up in the bottom corner. #garden. It has to be just like that. Only do it one time. Doing it multiple times does not give you a better chance. All it does is it kicks out all of the repeats that you put in, and that just clogs up the chat. So one time, and I will we'll do the demo later on. So upcoming with Embroidery Garden, February 7th is going to be the first Tuesday of February, and it'll be my Tuesday tip. I did one last month. I started it, this month. We're still in January. I started it this month, and if you wanted to watch that Tuesday tip, you can go to Embroidery Garden's YouTube channel. So the next one is coming up on February 7th, and I'm going to be giving you a great tip about thread. It's a tip that I learned from my friend Deborah Jones, who is an embroidery guru. So watch for that. You can get a reminder on my Facebook page. February 16th, Caroline is going to be doing another wrapped handle clothesline bowl class. Her class is so popular. We've been basically doing one almost every month now. She'll show you how to create the bowl and how to start it, how to add a fabric accent to it, how to make handles, how to wrap the handles, and then how to finish it off. Caroline has got tons of beautiful samples showing embroidery on them, showing embroidery, applique, and all types of embellishments. That class is on February 16th, and you can sign up for it at embroiderygarden.com. That menu that's going across the top of the website, embroiderygarden.com, just click on classes, virtual classes, and we'll see the wrapped handle clothesline bowl class. So I see everyone is getting their #garden in. Good. Let's see, on March 9th, I am going to be hosting Dime's edge-to-edge quilting virtual event. If you want to know all about edge-to-edge quilting, etc., you need to register for that event. If you register, you will get the link to watch it live. That link will be valid to watch the repeat for 48 hours. You'll get a free shipping code, and you will get a free edge-to-edge design to play with. I did put a bunch of links right at the beginning of this demo today. You can go back, you can see all the links. I put links in the event page. I put them on YouTube. On YouTube, they are below the video. You might see a description, and it may say see more or click here, and that will open it up. And I put links into everything I'm going to be using today and things that I'm going to be talking about. Barb said she met me several times when I used to come to the Indiana Embroidery Conference. Wow, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Geez, I can't even remember. It had to have been 10, maybe 15 years ago. But great, those were fun times. Dawn is getting ready to make my snowballs with the templates. Yeah, and my January tip involved the templates and a handy tip for those. Mary, I just got my new border designs. I just came out with a brand new collection with designs and machine embroidery called Hand Sketched Floral Borders, and they perfectly match my hand sketched florals collections. If you miss any of this stuff, be sure to like and follow Embroidery Garden on Facebook. That's where I announce stuff. Sign up for my newsletter. That's where you'll, get a lot of information there too. Hi, Vicki. Barb, you just found the YouTube channel. Great. Remember to subscribe to it, because if you subscribe, you will get a notice anytime I go live. And I do all my demos. I stream them to Facebook, Embroidery Garden's Facebook page, and to YouTube. All right, so I think that might have been everything that I wanted to talk about before we get started. So, Jan, you heard about me through Mike Johns. Yeah, Mike is a good friend. He is a great, great educator. Let me switch my camera, because let's look at what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be making these cute little key fobs. They're custom key fobs. So you can make any name that you want. And I'm going to show you how to make these in PE Design 11 and in Design and Machine Embroidery's software, which is called Perfect Embroidery Pro, or PEP for short. Those are the only two softwares that I own, full-blown digitizing softwares. So that's why I can only show you that. I've gotten a lot of emails and messages. Can I do it in this software, that software? I'm sorry, I don't have those softwares, so I don't know, if you can do it. You do need digitizing software, not just editing software. Now, are there different ways of making these? Of course there are, but I'm trying to present it to you as a newbie, someone who, hasn't done this before, someone who's not, real computer savvy, who doesn't, know software, know how to use software a lot. I'm trying to present it to you in an easy to do way. And I think that you are going to find that it's easy. So you're going to be able to use any name to create one of these fobs, or you're going to be able to bring in some lettering that you've already created. It doesn't matter if you create it in another program or if you create it in the program that you're using. I'm going to show you kind of two ways. So here's one that I did. You probably saw me post this one. I love that variegated thread, don't you? This is Dime's Melody thread. It comes in several different sets. I think this one was called Cotton Candy. This is the exact same tab, except I stitched it out in white. This is one that I did earlier. You could see I used one of Cam Snap's cute little engraved sewing machine snaps on it. I think they just got these back in stock. You'll have to check their website. And then I did this one. You can see the difference in the two. The blue one, I made my name bigger, and we're going to talk about, sizing. This is all going to kind of be personal preference for you. And this is also one of the variegated threads. Can't remember exactly the name of that one, but it's one of the Dime medley threads. And I want you to kind of get a good look at it. I want you to see how nice this looks. I think it turned out really great. And like I said, it's very easy to do. Look at the backside, how nice the backside looks. And I'm going to talk about achieving that. I like to put my snap tabs so they snap to the backside. You can make them snap to the front. I'll talk about a little bit about that, but these are going to be very, very easy to do. I saw someone that says, Marsha's asking, what do I find easier to navigate, PE Design or PEP? Well, my main software to use is PE Design 11. I'm still kind of working my way around PEP a little bit, but I really love it. And you're going to see in this particular project that I'm showing you that PEP might be a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. All right, so I'm just looking at some of the comments. Yeah, these are going to be great gifts for people. Sometimes you don't want to spend, a lot of money going out and buying a custom key fob, because if you had a digitizer make it, you would have to pay for it because, well, they're not going to have everyone's name. I don't think anyone's going to have Reen for sale, but so you could do custom names, other types of lettering, etc. And they make nice gifts. You don't want to go out and spend money having someone design something for you that you might only stitch out once or twice. Great for Christmas gifts, stocking stuffers, birthdays, just anything. Who doesn't want a key fob with her name on it? All right. Marianne says PEP is very easy to learn. I am finding that it is easy. With any software, you just have to practice. And I know a lot of people don't want to put time and effort into learning software. And, full-blown digitizing software is expensive. One thing I will say about Dime's Perfect Embroidery Pro is that once you buy it, all the upgrades that they put out for it are free. They just put out a huge update. I think it was maybe November, maybe it was October, somewhere in there. They put out a huge update, and it's free for everyone who had already bought this software. And it also runs on a Mac without a problem. So there you go. Barbara Jones says, what a great way to use all those sample pieces of vinyl. Yes, because it doesn't take very much to make one of these. So let's go over the supplies that we're going to be using when we get ready to stitch it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first show you how to create the file in PE Design, and then I'll show you how to create it in Perfect Embroidery Pro. Then we'll go to the machine and actually stitch it out. So let's look at our supplies. All right, so let me just move these out of the way a little bit. And whoa, the supply is kind of heavy. So the things that we're going to need, always like to have a small pair of scissors. Never know when you're going to need those. Tape, and I like to use the Transport medical tape. Best tape ever, lasts forever. It's just, I love it. You guys use it, you'll love it. You get it off of Amazon. I have a link for that in the supplies. I'm going to be using a bobbin with matching thread so that the back side is going to match the front side and look really nice. You're going to need a size 20 snap set. These are from Cam Snaps. I'm going to use a little crown one today. So you need the cap, the decorative cap. I don't like to waste my little nice engraved snaps. So for the other one, I just use a plain one. And you're going to need the female and male parts of the snap. I'm going to keep all these things in this little tray so I don't lose those. The ruler. I love to have a ruler near me whenever I'm creating anything. This is the Embroidery Garden ruler. It measures 2.5 by 6.5. I just got these back in stock. They've been out of stock for a while, but I've got one by each of my machines. I keep one by my computer. I need a ruler to help me when I'm coming up with size. I might say, 3 inches. That might be good. And then I'll get my ruler out and I'll see, that's 3 inches. Maybe I want it to be 4 inches. So, just having a ruler around is very handy. It also fits in all hoop sizes except the 4x4. And I do use my ruler in the hoops. I see Melissa is asking, what's all the #garden? Melissa, that's how you enter the giveaway. If you want to be entered into the giveaway for the $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com, make sure you type in #garden. Gail, what program did she say had the free upgrades? That is Dimes, or Design Machine Embroideries, Perfect Embroidery Pro software. That is full-blown digitizing software, and it has free upgrades. We're going to need 2 pieces of vinyl. You can use cork. It has to be something that has non-fraying edges and something that, is kind of sturdy. So cork, marine vinyl, something like that. I'm going to be using a punch, and that's when I put my snap in. I'll show you that when I get to it. I'm going to be using Camp Snap's. This is their mini table press. I do have the big green press. I can't get that underneath the camera, so that's why I chose to use this one. And I'll show you how to put those snaps in. One thing, Judy from Camp Snaps came out with the Embroidery Garden bundle, which, let me grab my notes here. The Embroidery Garden table press bundle includes that big green table press, the adapter base, the holes, the hole cutting dies. You get rivets, grommet, snaps, key fob hardware, and the dies. And I put the link in a lot of the advertising that I did. If you use the code EMB GARDEN Garden 15, the number 15, you'll get 15% off of that. So let's get back to our supplies. Scissors, because I'm going to have to trim around that snap tab. We'll be stitching it in a 5x7 hoop, and I'm using Tearaway soft stabilizer. And I'm going to be using my 5x7 hoop and press pad. A lot of you have the hoop and press pads. They do come for standard hoops. This is the 5x7. We got the 6x10, 8x8, and 8x12. They're separate, or they come bundled. They're also for oval hoop machines, which is basically Bernina. And we did come out with them for multi-needle machines. Okay, couldn't get this going on Facebook, Murtis. I may have had a problem. I did put the link on the page, and I know that it is working in the event on Facebook. Debbie says, hoop and press pads are great. Thank you. Hoop and press pads are on sale also. Can use HTV for the key fobs. If you got to put HTV, it's heat transfer vinyl. It has to go onto something. You couldn't just use it plain. You'd have to press it onto something to use it. Okay, see, a lot of Facebooks didn't work. I'll have to look at that later. I'm not sure why it didn't work. It's cyberspace. Things happen. Okay, so again, I'm showing you two different softwares. If you don't have those softwares, you can still follow along, and maybe you can apply the steps to your software that you have. Again, you can make these different ways. The way that I'm showing you how to make it, I tried to think about it as a newbie who, didn't really know a whole lot about software. So I tried to make the steps simple so that, you could follow along. So I'm going to look to see if there's any more questions. Lori says she loves PEP. PEP is a great program. Okay, I hear you. Facebook isn't working. I'll have to look at that later on. So I got my notes here. I want to make sure. Oh, here's something I forgot. So through the month of February, through the 28th, anytime that you order something from Embroidery Garden that has to be shipped, and that includes hoop and press pads, the acrylic ruler, the snowball templates, USB sticks, anything that actually has to be put in the mail and mailed to you, you're going to get a scratch to win ticket is going to be included in your package. And so what you're going to do is you get it, you scratch this off right here, and there's going to be an offer underneath there. It's going to be 1% off of your order. It's going to be a free USB stick to be sent to you. It's going to be free shipping. It's going to be something. And a code that you have to use, a specific unique code that you would have to use. That code can't be used in conjunction with any other codes, and it does have an expiration date. So something different. I might kind of like something fun, but it is only on orders that have to actually be shipped to you. All right, so let's get into the software. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and let me get that brought up. And first, again, we're going to go into PE Design 11. So I've got the software opened up. Now, while I'm showing you this, I really can't see comments. So, you'll have to hold your questions until later. Remember, this is going to be on YouTube. You can go back and you can rewatch it. So, if you miss a step or something, just go back and rewatch the video. So to make one of these name snap fobs, you need to create a name. Now you can create a name in this software right here in P Design. You can create it in another software, save it into your format, bring it in and use it. It doesn't matter. I'll show you how to create it here in the software. So I just clicked on the text. This drop-down menu has, all the built-in fonts, your true type fonts, etc. I'm going to go ahead and use number 14. I just click onto the middle of the screen and type what I want to write. Then click on the screen and it puts it into stitches. I'm going to go and I'm going to turn off the background, that grid, so you can see it a little bit better. And now I'm going to size it. Now, remember, I talked a little bit earlier about the size. Some people like a big fob, some people like a small fob. And it's also going to be, the size is going to be determined too by how long the name is. My name has 4 letters in it. If you're going to do Samantha or Alexandria, something with a lot more letters, well, you're going to have to adjust, your size. Go back over here to the home screen. So let's just look at what size this is. And this says that it's 3.16 by 1.1. That's the dimensions of it. So let me turn off aspect ratio because I want to just change a few things here. I'm going to make it 3.5 inches long. So we put 3.5, and the height, I think I want to make it about 1.5 inches. Again, you can do whatever you want. Okay. So I've got that on. So I've got my name, the size that I want it to be. I'm going to go over here to sewing attributes because I need to turn under sewing on. Let me just put a check there. And you might ask, what is under sewing? Well, let's just watch this kind of stitch out. See how it's putting stitching down first before it's coming along and doing the satin stitch? You really want underlay. So make sure that in P Design, you turn it on. Or if you create your name, in another software, that you have added some underlay to it. So how we're going to do this is once you have your name and the size of your name established, we're going to create our tab. And how do we create a tab? I'm going to go up here to the Shapes tool. I'm going to pick this rectangle. I'm going to turn off the fill because I don't want it filled in. And I'm going to change the zigzag. These are defaults that it defaults to. And I'm going to make it be a running stitch. I'm just going to draw a tab shape. I'm going to go up to the home page, click on size, because this has to be not a certain size. It needs to be a certain height. And I'm going to make the height be 0.3. Later on, I'm going to tell you why I'm making it be 0.3. And I'm going to make the width of it be about 2.5 inches for my tab. Now, when I move it over here, it needs to be on the left side of the name. And we place it, it needs to overlap any openings or, anything you have here. It needs to overlap. And you can overlap it as much as you want, okay? The overlap will change the length of the tab some, but the tab here, I have 2.5 inches, is, so it's going to be fine. But make sure that it covers, like, See here in the R, I have an opening. And a letter like a B probably wouldn't have an opening or something, but this R does. So you want it inside and covering up any opening like that. And you're going to see why in just a second. I'm going to select everything. And then I'm going to come up here to this embroidered patch. Click on it. And when that opens up, you're going to see satin stitch. Make sure it says no. We don't want any satin stitch going on. Over here, though, at cutting line, we're going to make a cutting line, but it's not going to be a cutting line in the end. And you're going to see this happen here in just a second. So the cutting line, it defaults to a distance from the original pattern. That means how far away it's going to be from the name to 0.08. I like to beef that up to like 0.1 and click OK. And you can see, let me zoom in here, that it put a outline around the tab, the name, and the little rectangle that I used as a tab. This is basically our snap fob to stitch out. So let me go ahead and select that rectangle that I made and just delete it. I don't need that. I'm going to click on, or I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click and then select that outline we just made. Go up here to running stitch, your line sew properties, and I'm going to change the color. It actually doesn't have any color right now. So I'm going to assign it. Let's see, well, I'll just make it blue. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to change it to a triple stitch. And I'm going to come over here to my line sew where it says run pitch. That's basically stitch length. And I'm going to beef that up to 0.1. And, you know, it automatically just does it. I don't have to click anything. But now let's look at this a little bit closer. And I'm going to go back to the home screen and I'm going to magnify this tab part. And hopefully you can see this. It's not really straight right there. And so I want to fix that. So if I click on the tab or the outline here, and I went up to the select tool and I picked the point tool. And that's how I got all the little nodes around here. One quick, easy way to straighten this up is to take out all these nodes that I do not want. And I could just draw a box around them, hit delete. And then I could come over here and I can move this node and make that line be straight. Because if it's not straight, it's not going to stitch out straight. Whoops. If you do something you don't like, you just hit undo. And let me kind of delete that. And what I'm trying to do is getting this line straight. And look, that looks straight right there. So I like that. Let me come down here at this bottom part of that tab. It looks a little crooked. I'm going to select all the nodes I don't want. And I'm going to take this one and move it up and straighten it out a little bit. And you can sit here and play as much as you want with this. Now I have the tab end how I want it. Let me go back and let's look at the other side. Let's look at the name side. I'll zoom in on that part. And I got to go back and I got to get my select tool. Now you can play around with this as much as you like. You can move the nodes. If you don't like how they are, you can move them. Sometimes it puts too many in. I don't like it. So I could just select the ones I don't like and delete those. I can change the shape over here. You see how I changed that and made it straight there. Like I said, you can go around and move these and play around with this as much as you want to. See, I'm just deleting a few I don't like in here. I can just grab one and I can move it, curve it a little bit more if I want to. One thing I don't like is I don't like this area here. When we are done with this tab and we have stitched it out, we're going to be taking our scissors and we're going to be trimming 1/8 inch from this line. And as we trim along, of course, we're not going to trim down there. We're going to, be trimming and then, come up this part of the R. I just don't like how that looks. This is a personal preference. So I'm going to get rid of these little nodes here. And I'm going to move this and kind of work it around, curve it out a little bit, and get it to how I like it. Again, like I said, this is all personal preference. You wouldn't have to do this. I would straighten up the tab end, but if you don't want to mess with any of the other nodes, you don't have to. All right, so let's zoom back out. And let me just hit the select tool. It's going to select everything. Basically, this is our tab that you could go and you could stitch out. However, there is one thing that I'm going to show you, and let's just kind of watch it stitch. And I'll speed up going through the name part. Whoops, sped it up too much for you. We try that again. Get through the name. And then when it gets to the tab, we'll take a little bit closer look at it. Whoops, did it again. Go a little bit too fast. This is how I'll do it. I'll go up to the select and I'll just select that tab. You can only watch that stitch. Now, let me slow it down a little bit and watch how the outline of the tab is going to stitch. Notice it starts right up here at the top. And it's going to stitch around. And then it's going to stop right up here at the top. That's right on the front of our tab. I don't want a start-stop to be right on the front of my tab. We all know how, sometimes our machines will, our machines will make a little knot or something at the beginning and at the end of stitching, something like a bean stitch or a running stitch, those types of stitches. So to change that, we're going to go back up here to the select tool. And this time I'm going to click on the select entry and exit points. And you can see it made a 1 and a 2. 1 is where it starts, 2 is where it stops. And before we do this, let me zoom in so you guys can see it better. And let me get my select tool again. So I'm going to take where it starts, number 1, and I'm going to move it over here to this part of the tab. And the reason I'm moving it over here, because again, I'm going to make my snap tab to where the tab end here folds to the back side. So my start stop will not be seen on the front. When we stitch it, I'm going to show you how to help to get rid of like any kind of a knot or something you may have to where you're going to not see anything at all on the back side. And I'm going to take the stop and I'm going to put it right on the start. So now if we watch this stitch, you notice that it started over here at the end of our tab and it stops there. And that's exactly what I want. Let me zoom back out and select everything. Because I'm going to stitch this in a 5x7 hoop, it's not going to stitch this way. I am going to have to rotate it. And arrange, I can move it to the center. Right now, you could take this and stitch it out. Let's take it a little bit further. Let's make a placement line and a tack down line. So to do that, and go back over here to shapes, take a rectangle. My region sew is turned off. It's set to triple stitch because that was the last thing we did. This doesn't need to be a triple stitch. It can be a running stitch. But one thing we need to do is change the color. And you change the color because that makes the machine stop. So I'm going to make a placement stitch to put my piece of vinyl down because I don't want to waste vinyl. I want to know exactly how big of a piece I need. So I just randomly drew a rectangle. Let's go back to the Home tab, click on Size, and I'm going to take Maintain Aspect Ratio off And you can see that I happen to draw the rectangle 3.11 by 6.69. I'm not cutting a piece of vinyl that size. Let's make it easier and change this to 3 inches by, I'm going to need a little bit of room, and I'm just going to make it 6.75 and hit enter. I'm going to go back to the Arrange tab and move it to the center. There's my placement for my vinyl on my stabilizer. Now, if I want to tack down my vinyl, I could just tape it in place, but, tacking it down with stitches is, it's nicer. It's going to keep it really flat. So to create a tack down, while I have that rectangle selected, I'm just going to do a copy, a paste. I'm going to go back up to the shapes because I need to change that color. And let's just make it green. And, this time I'm just going to use the nodes and bring it in a little bit. I want to make sure I have enough room that, I can still cut my 1/8 inch around here. That looks good. What I'm going to do is go back to the Home tab, Arrange, and move that to the center. So that will tack my vinyl down. Now let's go over here and look at the sewing order. Since I added those last 2 steps, it put my placement down here at the end. It actually needs to be the first thing that I stitch. And my tack down, all I have to do is click it and grab it and bring it to the second position. Then it's going to stitch the name. Then it's going to stitch the outline. So let's kind of watch it stitch. I put my stabilizer. I stitch this on the stabilizer, put my vinyl in there, stitches it down. It'll stitch the name, and I'll just speed this up. It'll stitch the name and then that outline, and then it's done. After it's stitched the name, the machine stops. I put the vinyl on the back side, then it stitches the outline. You can even go one step further if you want, and that is to create a snap placement. And I would go up to the Shapes tab, pick the circle, hold down my Shift key, draw a circle. And for right now, I'm just going to take it and move it over to the end of the tab. Now, this is too big. I can go to the Home tab, the Size tab. And when I make a placement, I usually make it like 0.15. And you can zoom in, to see where you have it there. That's probably a little bit low. So I can move it up. You could turn the grid back on, so you can get it lined up. I'm actually not going to stitch the placement, but I'm just showing you basically what you can do. Let me get this zoom back down. And right now it's ready to stitch. I'm going to send it to my machine. And it has sent to my machine and it's ready to stitch. So let me get rid of this and see what questions are. Charlene says, thanks for showing about the start stop. A good digitizer is going to hide that on a project like this, a snap tab. Let me show you back at the table. Okay, so this is the one that I stitched out. Again, my tab is going to the back. Let's just take this off. And let me hold it up there. Look, you can't even tell really where it started and stopped. My start stop, remember, was right about here. So it would be down here at this bottom edge, and you really can't see where it started and stopped. So that's what you want to do. You want to hide that. The way the software did it, it made it start and stop right there. And that would have looked really, really bad. In my opinion, it would have been really bad. Cindy is asking, what's this fringe thing that I have on here? This is just a, what do you call it? A little tassel. Get them off of Amazon. It's got a plastic cap, but the actual fringe is suede. And you get them in all kinds of colors. So, I mean, do you think that that's something? I see Beth, she's the one who actually, emailed me and wanted me to help her with this. So I hope that it's helped her and that it's helped everyone and that you can design a snap tab. Now you saw that I sent it to the machine. We're going to stitch it after I go into Dimes software and show you how to create it there. Let's see, Barb is asking, how long am I making my running stitches and outline stitches? When I went into, when I created that outline and I changed that outline to a triple stitch, I went over into the sew properties and I bumped it up. It'll default to 0.08 in PE Design. I bumped it up to 0.1. Remember, you can always go back and rewatch this. Someone's saying something about variegated thread. Yeah, I used, this is Dimes Melody thread. Isn't that cute, cute, cute? And I really love the pink. I know, I remember the name of that is Cotton Candy. Okay, everyone is saying feel comfortable now doing it. And as I said earlier, I really tried to make this, as easy as I could. Are there other ways of doing it? Yes. You can manually digitize it. But I know there are lots of people out there who can't manually digitize in software. So I thought this was a easy way for you to create something that in the end, it's going to look nice. I think these turned out really nice looking. I mean, I would definitely, give these as a gift to someone. So hopefully that, it's helped you. Dolores, I'm showing you how to create a file in software. P Design is not just specific to Brother. Yeah, it's Brother software, and it works with some Brother machines like Scan and Cut. You can do all kinds of amazing things. But if you just had P Design 11, you can export to several different formats that your embroidery machine can use. Same thing with Dimes Perfect Embroidery Pro. You can, create in it, and then you can save it as any format that your machine uses. So you don't have to have, something special. Andrea is asking what's on the back. Another piece of vinyl. It's 2 pieces of vinyl. I showed the supplies at the beginning. If you need to go back, you can go back. Polly's asking, can this be done in any software? You have to have digitizing software. You may not be able to do the exact same steps that I did because it's going to depend on what features your software has in it. Again, these are the 2 softwares that I own. So that's all I can show you. I'm not like a software hoarder. I don't own a lot of different softwares. I, buy what I buy and then I use it. Marianne, an older version of PE Design may or may not have that outline feature. That's really, really what you need. If you have, software that has that feature, you can do it. Let's see, just looking for some more questions before I get into Dimes. Dime stands for Designs and Machine Embroidery. Their full-blown digitizing software, which is Perfect Embroidery Pro, or called PEP, P-E-P. Marianne, yes, the PE Design and Palette, they're the same thing. So if you have Palette, you can certainly follow along those instructions that I just gave you. What font did I use on the name? That was one that was in the software. So it was number 14. I could tell you that. And that was a font built into PE Design. So you could use any font that you want. And Pamela, she is asking, Pamela, could I do more design videos? Yeah, if you guys like this, like the video, go to Embroidery's Facebook page, like and follow it. Let me know what you like. So, it'll encourage me to do more things like this. All right, so I'm going to go into Dimes Perfect Embroidery Pro software. Let me share my screen with that and get that brought up. And I'm going to show you the same thing. This time, what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to show you how to do, we're going to do a heart around a name. So let me bring that up. So this is the software opened up. And again, I could click on text and I could, use one of the built-in fonts. If I click over here on the font, it brings up, all the built-in fonts. Dime really does give you a lot of really beautiful fonts. And, I could go over here into the text window and I could write Reen and, apply it. And we could do basically the same thing. But what I wanted to show you in their software was doing that heart one. So let me get rid of this, select it, delete it. And on this one, I'm going to bring in some lettering that I already did. And let me kind of back out of that a little bit. So this is the word love. This is a font built in on Dime software. I don't know if it's in PEP or if it's in one of their other specialty softwares. I can't remember, but I just went ahead and, created a word, brought it in so that you can see how you can do it if you create something in a different software. All right, so I have the word love. I'm going to go up here to the transform window and I'm going to change my sizes. For this, basically, let's see, what am I going to use? Oh, I want to make this like 1.5 inches high and about 3 inches wide. So it turned out to what I wanted it to be. I can go in and I can change these if I want to. Go ahead and just hit apply. All right, so this one I want to put a heart around. I want to put a shape around it. So let's go up here to the artwork tool, this little pencil, and you can see it says artwork. If I hit the drop down menu, I can choose a heart. And I'm just going to randomly draw a heart. And let me select it and move it. And I'm going to make my heart shape. Let's see. Let me go back over here into the transform tab. I'm going to take off maintain aspect ratio. And I'm going to change my heart size to 3.25 inches wide by about, let's see, 270 and hit apply. Now, this is not going to be that outline stitch that we are going to stitch around. So I really want it to be close to the lettering. Make sure that you're not like off and see where the lettering here is outside of the heart. You want it to be inside everything, the lettering all inside. You can move it up and down however you want, but just make sure you keep all lettering inside of the heart. I got to make that tab again. Oh, and this is what I wanted to tell you about that tab too. So go back up here to the artwork tool, take a rectangle, randomly draw a tab shape, select it. Let me go back over to the transform window and I'm making my tab 0.3 and I'm going to tell you why during this demo. And I'm going to make it about 2.5 inches long. Apply. I'm going to move this and let me kind of back down a little bit so you can see everything. Again, just like the other demo that I did, I need the edge of the tab to stick all the way into the heart shape. And I can put it, anywhere I want. And I'm just going to stick it here. And all I have to do is select everything. I'm going to right click. I'm going to come down to Utility, Create Outline. Just like P Design, it defaults to 0.08, and I'm going to change that to 0.1 and hit OK. And the reason that I did these, I made the tab, this rectangle, be 0.3, and my outline is 0.1. So it makes the outline 0.1 in distance from each edge of the tab. So if the tab is 0.3 and I add 0.1 on this side, that's 0.4. If I add 0.1 at the bottom, that's 0.5. My tab is now 0.5, which is a ½ inch wide. When I'm done and I'm trimming all the way around here and I'm trimming my 1/8, that's going to give me a 1/4 inch. So a ½ inch and a 1/4 inch, that's 3/4 inch. And that's what my hardware is. I'm using 3/4 inch, a swivel hook. So on this one, I don't need this heart inside. I can get rid of that and I can get rid of that tab shape I made. And basically, here is my snap tab. You know, if I don't like the positioning of my, lettering, I can move it. Let's click on the outline that I made. And actually, this is not really stitching yet. This is just an outline. So we have to turn this into stitching. And I'm going to I selected it, and I'm going to right click on it, convert to a run. And if you go over here, it opens up the run window. I want this to be a bean. It defaults to standards. Click on it, drop down to bean, and hit apply. Now, the same thing that happened in PE Design is happening in this software. It's determining where it wants to start and stop stitching that outline. And this little symbol here is where it starts and stops. So I want to change that. Just like PE Design, I want to bring it and have it start and stop over here at the end of the tab. So let's go into the shape edit tool, and I'm going to change the entry and the exit. So all I have to do is click on it and drag it to where I want it. You'll notice it's green. Green means go, green means start. And then click on it again and bring the stop, red is stop, and put it right over the green. And now when it stitches, it's going to start and stop here. Let me select the whole thing. Again, it's going to go in a 5x7 hoop, so it has to be rotated. And let me zoom out a little bit. Again, you could go ahead and stitch this right now. If you want to add the placement, like we added on the for the vinyl, the placement and the tack down, go back up to the drawing tool, the artwork, take a rectangle, and I'm randomly going to draw a rectangle. Let's go back to the select tool, and let me get everything centered. Let me center that. Let me get my tab centered in there also. You just right click up here at the top and center that. Okay, so now I'm centered within what I'm starting to create my placement. Let's go back over to the transform. And again, I don't want to have to cut my vinyl, these weird numbers here. I think that I can get away with making it 4 inches wide. And, I don't want to cut a piece 6.72. I'll cut it 6.75 though, and hit apply. That would be my tack down, but it still has to have stitches attached to it. This was just artwork that we brought in. So I'm going to right click on it, convert to a run. And if we go up here to the run, you can just see it's standard. It doesn't have to be, a triple stitch, a bean stitch, or anything like that. It's just going to stitch just like a regular stitch would. Make sure I apply that. And now it is my tack down, or I'm sorry, my place to make the tack down, copy, paste it. And again, just like I did, I just kind of made it a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to center that. And if we go over here and look in our, this is our sewing sequence. What you need to do is, let's see, there's my lettering. Let me click on that. This was my placement, and make that a different color. Remember, everything has to be a different color. This is my placement. Let me just close these up a little bit. So take my placement and move it up. My lettering is going to be coming down. Let's see, this was my tack down. Let me move that up. Okay, so now we're going to be stitching. It's going to do the placement, the tack down, the lettering, and then we're going to put the other piece of vinyl on the back side and let it do the outline stitch. And, if you want to watch it stitch out, come up here to the redraw. Let's kind of quickly go through placement. Whoops, I didn't get my tack down in the correct spot. I can go back though and change that. But that's, and you change the things over here. And that is as easy as it is. If you want me to show you that, let me pick that tack down and let's make it be green. And let me move that tack down up. So now we'll watch it again. Placement, tack down, lettering, and then it does the outline for the tab. And you can file, save as, and let me find save as. And look, here are all these different formats that Perfect Embroidery Pro lets you save in. PE Design lets you save in, it's more of a limited number of formats. So I hope that you, saw how easy it was to create in Perfect Embroidery Pro. You noticed I didn't go in and I didn't move all those nodes around because it does a better job at creating an outline really than PE Design does. PE Design, I had to move them around a little bit because, they weren't perfect and I wanted them to be perfect. So I see everyone is saying, okay, let's see, we got a question here. The stitch length for that triple stitch in PE Design, I made it 0.1, and in Perfect Embroidery Pro, it's a bean stitch, and I left it at default, which is 3.0. Okay, remember, get your hashtag garden in. And you know what? Let's go ahead and do one of the draws right now. I'm going to do 2 of them. So let's get rid of that. Let me share my screen again, and we're going to bring in the giveaway tool. All right, let me share it. Right now we got 237 people entered. I'm going to hit draw, and we're going to see who wins the first $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. And the winner is Linda Molden. So Linda Molden has won the one of the $20 gift cards to embroiderygarden.com. You know what? While I have it up, let me just go ahead and do the other one. Just because I want to make sure I don't have to, something happens and I can't get back to it. So I'm going to draw for the second one. Make sure you have hashtag garden in. It's drawing for the second $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. If you win, make sure that you go to the website, send me an email, or contact me on Facebook. And it's Janet, I hope I pronounced that right. So please contact me, you winners, for the gift cards. So we're going to go to the machine. I'm actually going to show you how to stitch this out. Remember when I did PE Design, I sent it wirelessly to my machine. I'm going to wake my machine up and the design brought up onto the screen. I have already hooped my Tearaway stabilizer and my 5x7 hoop. And the first stitch, remember, is going to stitch that placement line. So let me switch over to the machine. Let me get my hoop put on and let's get that placement line stitched. Now remember, I made my placement line be 3 inches by 6.75. And so I just went ahead and I cut my 2 pieces of vinyl ahead of time because I knew what the measurements were going to be. So it's doing the placement directly onto the stabilizer. And I do know that there was a problem with Facebook. I don't know why it didn't stream to it. I did notice that it was streaming onto the event page on Facebook, though. So I've got my placement line stitched. Let me bring it back over to the table. I probably should have used a darker color. You can barely see it there, but I can see it. I'm going to take one of my pieces of vinyl and put it inside of that placement line. And I'm going to tape it down. Even though I'm going to do a tack down, I'm still going to tape it in place. Okay, it's nice and flat. And I'm going to put it back on the machine. And Mary Ann is asking if I'm using extra long snaps. No, I just use the regular ones. I don't have a problem with them, but they are size 20. So now I'm doing the tack down. Remember, we added a tack down. You really don't have to add the tack down. I kind of like it though, because it holds the vinyl down nice and flat. All right, so now it's tacked it down. And the next step it's going to stitch is the name. And that's going to take the longest. The whole design at what my machine is set at is saying 6 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to let it stitch. I'll answer questions. Can I use a dime magnetic hoop? Yes, you could. You could certainly use a dime magnetic hoop for this. Let's see. Do the long snaps work best? Again, I don't have problems with the regular snaps, regular length snaps. If you want to try other ones, you can. 2 pieces of vinyl are not, it's not very thick. And I've never had a problem with my snaps coming out or anything. So, I think they're fine. Barbara is asking the vinyl source. I got this from Joann Fabrics. All the vinyl, the black. It's in the home deck department. It's on the big rolls. We're talking marine vinyl, like a canvas type vinyl. This is not vinyl like HTV, heat transfer vinyl. If you wanted to use heat transfer vinyl, you would have to adhere it to something, maybe felt or something. It's got to be sturdy. Just a piece of heat transfer vinyl is not sturdy enough to make snap tabs. But I got the black, the teal, the cream color, and this kind of pretty pink color, all at Joann Fabrics. I usually buy, a quarter yard. It's about $30 a yard. So I buy a quarter yard and you can get a ton of snap fobs out of, a quarter yard of fabric. Denise, she loves Transport medical tape. So do I. Let me grab my roll here if you didn't see it. I ordered off of Amazon. The tape is the best tape out there. It stays stuck. And that's what I want. Bill is asking if you wanted to sell these, what would you charge? That's something you're going to have to determine. The vinyl really is not much of a cost. You want to add a little swivel hook onto it. That's not, you get these off of Amazon or, you can buy nicer quality ones from places like Sally Tomato or Camp Snap sells them. You could add a little tassel and a little split ring like I did on this one. It's going to up your cost a little bit. It is going to, you got to take into consideration your time to create the file because if you're going to make them, generically like this with love on it, well, you're going to create the file once and be able to use it multiple times. If you're going to do custom names, that requires you doing each name. How do you put the outline around a name and pet? It's the exact same way. I showed you with the heart, but if I would have left the heart off and just had the word love, I still would have made that rectangle for the tab, and I would have selected everything and did create outline, and it would have put an outline around the word love. So I just want to show you, something a little bit different. Do I have, let's see, the link for the CamSnap bundle? Yes, I do. Let me grab that real quick for you. Now, this is a bundle. It's called the Embroidery Garden CamSnap bundle. It's a bundle that Judy put together for Embroidery Garden. This is a link to it. And the code is EMBGARDEN 15, and you will get an additional, or you'll get 15% off of the price shown. So I just posted that information. And let's see, looking for other questions. With the outline and the text, Dennis, you can rewatch this. Okay, you can go back and you can rewatch this to see how to outline that again. The name is finished, so let me grab it off the machine because we're going to have to put our other piece of vinyl on the back side before we continue. So let me show you how pretty this is looking. Get rid of all these. Well, it's a light green. It really isn't showing up that great. Now we have to put the vinyl on the back side, and this is where my hoop and press pad is going to come in. I'm going to put the pad down in front. This is a 5x7 pad. Remember, hoop and press pads are on sale right now, and anything that has to be shipped, you get a scratch to win ticket inside of your package. So I'm going to turn it upside down, place it over the hoop and press pad, and now I'm able to, what I want to do is I want to tape onto the back side of the hoop. And let's see, oh, here's my other piece of vinyl. I'm going to put it back in that placement line and have the pretty side sticking out. I'm going to tape this down, and I got to get a couple more pieces of tape. And the reason I want the hoop and press pad under there is because I want to be able to really press my tape down. This tape sticks really well, but you still have to be able to apply pressure to it to get it to stick well. With that hoop and press pad under there, I can really press down so that I know that I have it adhered well to the stabilizer. Excuse me. I've, taped it on before. Actually, when I was doing my samples, I didn't have my hoop and press pad near me, and I taped it on. And by the time I got back to my machine, it had fallen off the back side. And that was because I wasn't able to press it down really well because they didn't have the support of the pad underneath. So I ran and got my hoop and press pad. You can believe that. Now, the next step, it's going to do that outline. And let me get it back over onto the machine. And first, let's put in our matching bobbin. Some people don't put in a matching bobbin. I think it looks nicer. It's going to give you, just a nicer finish to use a matching thread. Let me get the bobbin in and let me get the hoop on. And now, whenever you're doing a stitch like this, whether it's a bean stitch or a running stitch, any kind of basically, a stitch like this for an outline, you want to make sure that you don't get that nasty little knot. A lot of people get that nasty little knot at the beginning, or it's the tails at the end. To kind of avoid that, hold your top thread. You can see I have it here in my hand. Hold the top thread, press needle down, needle up, and you're going to pull up your bobbin thread from the bottom. Let me grab it Here's my bobbin thread. Here's my top thread. I like to hold both of those and then start my machine. Let the machine take a few stitches and get going. I'm going to stop and I'm going to cut those threads and I'm going to let it go and finish stitching that outline. Norma, it does look much nicer if you use matching bobbin thread. And again, if this is something you're going to give as a gift or you're going to sell, make it look nice. Cindy has the hoop and press pads. She loves them and uses them all the time. Thank you. And Miss Maureen says, no more saggy bags with hoop and press pads. Exactly, because the main reason I developed them was to press in the hoop so you can get the your linings nice and flat. Pamela, you have a 10 needle. How do I do it on that? I'm not sure what you're talking about, how to do what. Do you prefer to use polyester, cotton, or rayon thread on vinyl? I'm using polyester thread. Hi, Ashley. Thanks for joining me. Ashley is the lead educator for Dime, so she can tell you all about Perfect Embroidery Pro. And you saw how easy it was for me to create this in Perfect Embroidery Pro. Kathy wants to know if you can cut it out using a scan and cut. You would pre-cut your outline. That's a whole nother story, a whole nother demo. Just something other steps you would have to do to create that. All right, so it's done. Let's look at the back side. I do have my little tails there. Let me just trim those off. I'm going to hold it up high though. So look how nice the back side looks. Can't even see where it started and stopped. Oh, Pamela wants to know how to avoid the knot on the back. You do it exactly the same. You're going to have to use the hand wheel though to bring the needle down and then bring it back up again. So let me get rid of my tape. I can save this tape and use it again for another project. Let me get it off the back side. I don't like to cut through my tape. All right, so what I like to do first, I want to cut off that tack down, and I'm cutting just beyond the tack down. Okay, I don't want to use up any of the room that I'm going to need to trim around my tab, but I want to get rid of that tack down because it's holding my stabilizer in, and I'm going to be tearing away that stabilizer because I don't want that stabilizer along the edge where you can see it peek out. So let me get rid of that. And again, here's that tearaway stabilizer. What I'm going to do is tear it close to the stitching all the way around. Again, I don't want to be able to peek and see, that peeking out of the edge and see that. I'm just tearing it as close as I can get it. And let's see, Lorelei is asking about PEP. You have to have bought Perfect Embroidery Pro. If you have Toolshed is their free editing software from Dime. You can't do this in the free editing software, but Toolshed is where they store all their software. So PEP would be inside of it if you had purchased it. And let's see. Miss Maureen, you wanted to know, is that your design in the snap tray? Oh, the snap tray. These are by Molly Made, my friend Molly. And the designs inside, that lettering, that's from my friend Rhonda at a Stitch in Time Designs. You can get snap trays. Molly's snap trays are beautiful from Molly Made Designs. And you can get lettering to go down inside from Rhonda, Stitch in Time Designs. All right, so I think I gave this tip before, but I'm going to do it again about trimming. For me to trim easily and nicely, I first like to take my scissors and clip into all of the inner corners. So see, that's an inner corner. I clipped to about that 1/8 of an inch. This helps me. You may have your own way of doing it, but this helps me. All these little bumps here at the name, I'm going to do the same thing. Well, it's a little hard for me to see because I don't have my glasses on. I got my contacts in, and that makes it a little bit harder for me. But again, this is going to make it easier for me when I'm trimming around here. And I'm just going to do those for right now. Again, we're going to go an 1/8 inch of around, an 1/8 inch away from the stitching all the way around. Let me just get started here. And see, since I made that inside cut, those pieces just fall away. They get out of my way, and that's what I want. And then I'm going to start coming around. I'm going to go slow because I want this to turn out nice. See, that just falls away. That's why I do that. I didn't do it down here. Normally, I would have. I'm just kind of trying to follow the little curves. But doing that little cut, inside cut, it makes it easier for me. Okay, so I got the bottom done. That looks pretty good. I'm going to make that inside cut right here because this is a kind of a tricky corner to come around. This is where, you get real quiet. You get your tongue sticks out because you're really concentrating, trying to get around these curves nicely. Get around here. Again, that falls out. I'm almost done. And you notice I'm moving what I'm cutting instead of moving my scissors. All right, and I'm almost done. And all I'm going to have to do now is go around the end of the tab. So let me get rid of that. I'm spending too much time on this, but I do want it to turn out nice. All right, so see how nice that looks? All right, so now all I have to do is install my snaps. I'm going to get my table press. This is, again, what they call the mini table press. Get my snaps I need. And I am going to use the punch. The snaps, if you buy, stuff from Judy, you're going to get that awl. And the awl is a sharp, pointy tool that you just kind of push, a hole through. I like to use this because it makes a cleaner hole. And let me show you. So, I don't want to get too close to that edge because my snap is probably about a 1/2 inch wide. I want to make sure I'm in the center of it. And hear that little click? And then see how it made a nice hole in there. So now I can get my snap in really, really nicely. To make my other snap and to line it up, all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over to where I want it to be, get it lined up, make sure the sides are nice and even. And I'm just going to take a pin and I can mark that hole there. You see my little mark? I'm going to use my punch again. Punch that out. I got the punch off of Amazon. Barbara wants to know what kind of scissors I use. I use Kai scissors. I love Kai scissors. Both of these pairs that I had today were Kai's. All right, so I have my holes in. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the first snap in, my little decorative one, which is that crown. And I don't know if I want it to go like this or if I want it to go this way. Or if I want to turn it like that. I think I'm just going to leave it like this. Whoops, and have it be straight. So I put my decorative cap through there. It's got a little prong. See that prong stick out? And I'm going to take the female part and I'm going to put the flat side of it down over that prong sticking up. Whoops, let me make sure I didn't move it and I got my crown going the right way. I'm going to set it down into the die and I'm just going to take the handle. I'm going to turn it. Usually you would just, put this down and put the pressure on the handle, but I'm turning it so you guys can get a good look at it. And all I'm going to do is squeeze. I can do it one-handed. And the snap is installed. I can hold it up here. See how nice and round that prong is now? That's what you want. If you have a problem and you get it, it looks crooked or something, and your snap's probably not going to work really nice. So now I want to take the other one, and remember, I didn't want to waste one of my decorative snaps. I just used a matching black one. I'm going to put it through the other hole there. I'm going to take the male, put the flat side against that. I'm going to set it down into the die. And hold on, I don't know if I got it set right. Yeah, I do. And then push down. And now I got both my snaps in. Let me just take this off of here. And remember, I'm using a 3/4 inch, and that's why I made that rectangle 0.3, and my outline is 0.1. That equals a 1/2 inch. And then with my trimming, it should be about 3/4 of an inch. So it should fit into my hardware. And it did. Let me give you a close-up of the front. Here's a close-up of the back. The back looks as nice as the front. All right, so what did you guys think about that? Hope that you enjoyed that demo. Barbara, I'm using 3/4 inch hardware. If you wanted to use a 1-inch piece of hardware, you're going to have to adjust your tab. Just kind of remember that little bit of math I gave you. You'll have to make that tab a little bit taller instead of 0.3. All right, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this demo today. If you did, remember, like this video, go to Embroidery Garden's Facebook page, like and follow it. Give me some love on, these videos and stuff. Send me an email telling me what, you might want to see. This is how this demo came about. Beth wanted me to help her show her how to do one of these. And I thought, why not do a demo on it? So, just give me your ideas of what you want to see. Remember, February 7th, 10 a.m. on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page, I'm going to be talking about thread, and I'm going to give you a great tip on thread that I saw my friend Deborah Jones do on one of the episodes that she was on with Eileen Roach on Designs and Machine Embroideries weekly show. They have a weekly Facebook episode that is at 1:00 Central Time. So be sure to watch my demo on the 7th of February, and be watching for when I do my February demo. I haven't gotten my project yet or my date yet for that, but I will be announcing it on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. So thank you, everyone. Go out, have a great day. Remember to join Embroidery Garden's Facebook group and see some great inspiring projects from all of my friends and customers. Thanks, everyone. Bye.